This video is made possible by SIB, the Dutch United Nations Student Association. To get a general idea of different perspectives on the world, in this case the Middle East, it's not only important to, of course, listen to people who experience life over there, but also to watch movies, because then you not only hear, but also see the different perspectives. So, Bertie,
yeah.
3 movies.
Yes.
Very different ones. Could you
very different ones.
Briefly explain what all 3 of them are about?
The first one for Afghanistan is Osama. It was released in 2003 and is the first feature-length film directed in Afghanistan after the fall of the Taliban regime. It was directed by the Afghan director Siddiq Barmak. The second film that we're going to talk about today is from the British Jordanian film director Naji Abu Nowar, hopefully I don't butcher his name, for Theeb, right, released in 2014. Very interesting movie, completely different from the first one. That one is more of a historical perspective set in the First World War in the complete desert. And the third film that I want to present today is my favorite of this whole selection. It was directed by Abbas Fahdel, released in 2016, and he went to his family in Iraq. He's an Iraqi director, and he lives in France. He went back to his family in the transition period 2002-2003 to film their daily lives and to see how much war has impacted them.
Very good. Now we're going to watch the first trailer.
MGM Home Entertainment brings you the Golden Globe winner for Best Foreign Film. The first movie made in Afghanistan after the fall of the Taliban. To save her family, a girl must become a boy. Inspired by a true story, a critically acclaimed masterpiece seen through the eyes of a child. Osama.
Now, looking at the trailer, I got the impression that it's going to be another Hollywood epic blockbuster commercial movie. Is this a right impression or not?
No, not really. I think the trailer is very misleading. Siddiq Barmak is an Afghan director. Is definitely not related to Hollywood in that particular sense. And this film is very much not spectacular, epic at all. It's very much integrating the perspective of Osama, the main character, who is a girl that has to dress up as a boy in order to provide for her family under the Taliban regime in Afghanistan. Osama is the first film that has been set in Afghanistan after the fall of the Taliban regime. And the main aim of the director, and he made it very clear in multiple interviews, it was about, first of all, telling a story that people could identify in. And that was the main comment of Afghan people after they saw the movie, that they could find a bit of themselves in that particular story. So it's a fictitious narrative inspired from a true story. And everyone, or at least the people that felt concerned by this story, really felt themselves involved. So it's definitely not, in that sense, really a spectacular but more heartful, let's say, difficult watch. And the second project of the director, which I think is very important, he wanted to do a film as a rebuilding project, something that people could work in to sort of build again from scratch from the violence that they faced, a sort of identity, collective identity, and a sense of their culture and the sense of their narrative, of their story, personal story, which I think is the heart of connecting conversation as well, is to get this space to talk about whatever you experienced, how you experienced it, and share that to the world.
Yeah, good. Now we're gonna watch the second clip.
من يغوص البحر الأحمر فلا يلحق مداه والبحر يذيب ما كل رجل يعصره والخوي لا من بدالك لا تخيب له رجعه كون يمه في يمينه المراجل الواصلة، والذيابة لو بدت ما تحقق لك نجاة، كلهم ما ينفعونك والمنايا حاصلة.
Yeah, beautiful landscapes, widespread fields. I had the idea that this movie had more of a, how to say, it's a bit easier to watch.
Yes, that's definitely the easy watch of this selection.
Okay.
I selected this film because it's very different from the first one that we talked about. This one is a historical film set in 1916, so yeah, First World War. It's a coming of age story about this young Bedouin boy that ends up in the desert, having to survive by himself after the death of his brother. So in that sense, that's a bit different from the first one that we saw. It's less, let's say, near to us, historically speaking. What I'm really interested in this particular movie is, indeed, as you were mentioning, the perspectives, the aesthetics of that movie is very interesting. The director, Naji Abu Nowar, hopefully I don't butcher his name, was very inspired by both Westerns, classical Westerns, and Kurosawa, which I think melting these two inspirations together, which are very different from one another, is very interesting in and of itself, and you can definitely feel it from watching the film.
Good, now we're going to watch the third trailer.
Hold his picture, he's our father with the lovely face.
نحن في بلدنا والمعتدي يأتي عبر البحار ليغزو هذا البلد، فأي خيار بقي أمامنا؟
الحرب قربت. قربت؟ اي يلا 17/3 قالوا يضربونا، قسم قالوا 14/3. تستاهل انت الامريكي. الامريكي طلع منا كاميرا، اجى يصورني ما قبلت، قال لي واي، قلت له لا، ورحت عفته ورحت.
ان شاء الله ينتصر عليكم يا صهيون.
امريكا كلها مريتها، امريكا تطلع من العراق، تطلع امريكا.
هسه صدام حيرجع راسنا غزل، ما اقدر ابيع، لا احنا الا بالقوه، لا فينا ديمقراطيه ولا سوالف.
زناني عمي
اسمح لي،
اكبر مني سنتين
اسمح لي
وعدمه صدام اخذه.
امان ماكو بالشارع، كل امان ماكو، توفير ماكو امان.
Now, watching the trailer, I also got the impression that it's, to a certain degree, a political movie. Of course, you saw a lot of political statements in there. Yeah. Should we watch it in that context? Or
Let's say that the viewer can be aware that obviously there is a politically tinted underlying tone. That's definitely the case. And the I would say by the topic itself, it's political, right? That being said, I never felt along the movie that was the main aim of the director. I think the director left it open for everyone to analyze how the perspective should be seen. The perspective that he gives is his perspective, the perspective of his family. He's not imposing a political view. He's giving his perspective on what's going on. And then you can make your mind up of it. And I will definitely see that that's not politically tinted to a certain extent where it's overwhelming as well. It's really concentrated on how lovable these people are, how much you get attached to them.
One more question though.
Yeah.
How can people watch these movies? Where can they find them?
Very good question. So legally speaking, you can watch all of them on iTunes. I think some of them are available on Amazon Prime as well. You can be old-fashioned like me and order the DVDs, because that's always nice to have the object in and of itself if you have a possibility for a DVD player. And if I remember correctly, there is also a version of Osama subbed in English on YouTube as well, if you'd like to watch it. Yeah.
Now, thank you all for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Also, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
One more thing, more of a practical sense. You, Bertie, are of course the chair. She's the chair of Cinemates and Cultural Society.
That's right.
But not for long anymore.
Not for long anymore, unfortunately, no. So, indeed, I opened the vacancies for anyone that would be interested in taking over the chair of both Cinemates and Cultural Society. So if you're interested, you can definitely submit your applications. Unfortunately, I will not have the time next semester with my thesis to organize as much wonderful events for our wonderful members. So if you're interested in that and you feel like sharing your passion for cinema or for arts with our members, you're more than welcome to send your applications. And I'm really, really looking forward to see the next candidates.
You can submit your application for the vacancy at internal@SIB-Amsterdam.nl. And hopefully, maybe you're going to be the new chair of either Cinemates or Cultural Society. Yeah, that's it. Have a very nice day, and till next time. One more thing. Also check, of course, on the website of SIB-Amsterdam.nl the latest upcoming events, because we are having a lot of online events on a general base. Also, if you're not a member yet of SIB, of course, become a member. It's very cheap and it's going to be very worthwhile.
Definitely.
You're going to have access to all our events. Till next time.